For many years, I really struggled with consistency. I'd feel good in certain moments and motivated, and I'd be able to tackle my goals head on, whether that had to do with my academics or my business or my sports. But then I'd wake up tired or sore, or I just have a lot of stress. And then I'd skip a day, and then it'd be 2 days, and then it'd be 3 days. And a lot of guilt and shame and anxiety was pent up inside of me. And then at that point, I really didn't even want to think about my initial goal at hand because I just feel bad about myself. And I keep repeating this cycle, and then ultimately I would feel paralyzed. And there's no greater pain, I believe, for a young, really ambitious kid to feel like they're only working at 10% of their capacity. If you've ever had this great desire to do something different or to be somebody different, and then you find yourself constantly failing over and over and over again, then you look in the mirror and you lose confidence in that person, there's nothing scarier than that. And then it really did start to change when I started to recognize that discipline is actually a skill. It's not something that's inherent or it's a gift that's only for certain people. No, it's in fact something that's tangible for you and I. It's something that can be built through a system, and that is simply made to make your success easier even when the chaos is at its most severe, right? That is what discipline is. It's the ability to have these mindset shifts, and I'm going to be talking about 4 of them that really helped me change my perspective, and I hope that it'll help you too. My goal is simple. I want you to succeed, but the truth is you will never be successful without discipline. That's a matter of fact. And for me, in everything that I did, eventually it got monotonous, or it got extremely difficult, or it was just simply really different. And it forced me to show up anyhow. And that discipline, I'm going to hopefully be able to build for you. My name is Jun Yu. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Look, let's face it, I didn't come from a ton of opportunity, nor money, nor handouts. So the one thing that you and I have as an opportunity to stand out and to make a difference in this world is our energy. It's the ability to show up even when we don't feel like it. So how can we train that? Well, hopefully in this video you learn it. And I just want to see you win. I'll see you at the top, like I always say in these videos. But it's that whole premise behind you and I can have that success. Like you and I can aspire to have these dreams, and we can reach it too. We don't have to just watch other people do it. So stick around. I hope that you enjoy this video. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and then ask me questions in the comments, and hopefully you subscribe as well. With that being said, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Number 1, realize that you're in competition. I was a little bit hesitant to phrase it this way, but it's my honest truth, and it is how I view a lot of what I had gone through, and now even to this day how I view things. And I think competition is healthy, and you have to be very careful. Not competition in the sense of comparing where you are currently to somebody's 10-year next step. That's not fair to you, right? But competing with your peers, I think, is healthy. It creates a different standard inside of you to do better, to do more. And if you think about it, every single person will experience something very difficult, right? No matter what season it may be in. Yours may be right now, the friend that you have or your peer at school might have it in 3 months from now. But the truth is that will happen. It's like the one guarantee in life that hardship will occur. But it's how you deal with those hardships that really stand you apart, right? Does that make sense? So if there's one truth, fundamental truth, that you will experience something difficult at one particular point of your life, if you could be the type of person not run away from it, but run towards it and realize in the thick of it, in the most difficult elements of it, when you do wake up sore, tired, and stressed out, that ability to show up and be disciplined, that is your ability to stand apart. It's simply the way that you make ground on your competition. And so for me, when I think about the fact that I had people around me that were very wealthy, right? When I was in school, I would see other people and I was like, man, I can't believe that they have all of these things. I can't believe their parents are picking them up in Maseratis or whatever the case may be. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And I was struggling with my divorced parents back at home, and you naturally start to compare. But in reality, I start to realize, okay, well, the one thing that I have for me and the way that I make up ground against these peers is by showing up in the most difficult moments. So I feel like they won't do it, right? Because everyone can do it when the school season just starts. Everyone can do it when the sports season just starts. Everyone can do it when they feel great in the new year. But I'm telling you, the thing that I'm good at is showing up, knowing that I'm in competition, knowing that that is my only advantage. If I can stick through it, and if I can be in it for longer, and if I can progress in that difficulty, in that challenging season, that I am making progress, that I am actually making ground on my competition. Now, is that a crazy way of thinking about it? Maybe, but it works for me, right? And I think it is healthy in that level if you don't necessarily, again, compare it to somebody that's completely ahead of you. But in this landscape that you're in, you have to realize that a lot of people our age are not doing much with their lives. Like they're not working on themselves. They're not waking up early. They're not going to the gym. They're not taking care of themselves. No matter where you've started from, that's your opportunity to make up ground. So see things as that competition so that you can feel joy when it's painful, right? When things are really challenging, when it is 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., you have to spend a really long night doing this. You know for a fact that Joe or Molly isn't doing that, right? They're going to bed, they're feeling comfortable where they are, but you and I, we have this great desire to do it. And every single moment that we stick in the difficulty and we have a positive experience in it, even when it's challenging and we're smiling, we're saying, yeah, I'm gonna do it before I go to bed. That I think is powerful. And those moments compound, right? So when I was doing that my first year of college, it didn't really stand out. Second year of college, it didn't really stand out. 3 years into college, cool, we're making some ground, right? And then people wonder, oh, how did you finish at the top of your class? Or, oh, how did you get your bachelor's and master's in biomedical engineering? Or how did you start building a business? It's like the 15 minutes to 20 minutes that I was doing those each days in which, when we were all stressed out in finals week, but I still showed up. It's like that ability to show even when you really don't feel like it, that should make you excited because that's when you're making up ground. That's when you are progressing while others are remaining stagnant because you know that they wouldn't do the same. Number 2, break perfectionism. Discipline isn't a linear progression to success, and I'm meaning this. So think about who your favorite icons are, right? Whether they be athletes or musicians or business moguls or whoever it may be. The truth is, they all got there through discipline. And they probably even told you that, right? Whether it was on a podcast, they've said, discipline is how I got here, but they never talk about how. So I want to break it down. It's not that those icons of yours have always been perfect. It's not that they showed up every single moment of their lives. It's not that they made every single shot. It's not that they aced every exam. It's not that they succeed in every business of theirs. It's actually very much the opposite. You see, everyone will inevitably fail, right? All of us will. But I believe discipline is actually getting back on the horse after inevitably failing. It's the ability to return back to the mission at hand, knowing that it will be difficult and you will fail. Does that make sense? So hopefully that changes your perspective on it altogether. As in, when you falter on a goal, how I mentioned in the very beginning when I would be in these experiences, I feel guilt, anxiety, and shame. That no longer feels that same depth of pain anymore when I fail something because I realize, wait, no, this is discipline. I didn't break discipline by not showing up that day. Discipline is actually being built by saying, let's get back on the horse after inevitably failing. And when that happens, if you take a bird's eye view across your life, every single moment you pick yourself up, no matter how challenging or exhausting it may be, you start to realize you've made so much progress in your life. Versus if you're the type of person to be so dwelling in the pain of the guilt, shame, and anxiety, and that eats you alive, then you stop altogether. You hinder all of your progress, and then you have to wait for a huge jolt of motivation. And that's how most people live their lives, right? When the New Year's begins and they have these huge aspirations, they can be successful till March, and then when they start going back to their old eating habits or they stop going to the gym, then they wait till the next new year until they have a huge jolt of inspiration to return back to it. But if you could just simply be the person that if you fail in March and maybe you go a whole month without going to the gym, but in April if you can return, if June you can return, and then you can start to be consistent again for another 3-4 months. Even if you falter again, but the ability to get back on the horse after inevitably failing, that is discipline. So your favorite icons, they had failed, they had messed up on their businesses, they had not shown up to certain practices, they might have not shown up in the biggest of games, but they got back on the horse. They got back on the mission at hand. And I believe that is discipline. So avoid perfectionism altogether because that will eat you alive because we're human beings. But the ability to have grace in the moment and say, okay, let me do this again, that I truly believe is actually the definition of discipline. Number 3, you need a routine. And this is a non-negotiable. It doesn't have to be a 20-step morning routine that's impossible to stick to after a few days. It should be manageable and practical, but you are a better person for it. And I want to describe a particular example of this. If you were to think back on when you're in school and you think about how much work you actually get done through 9 months of the year, and then you think about in the summertime, and when I think about my own summer times, I was so lazy for a majority of it. And I mean lazy, I wasn't relaxing or resting. No, I was simply lazy. It was really difficult for me to be productive at all. That is the difference in a routine. When you are around, let's say in this environment of school, you are forced to wake up at a certain time. You go and you are occupied for 8 hours a day. Then you come back home and you still have homework to do. That's routine. And it's one thing for routine to be handed to you, but it's another for you to realize how important routine is and then actually craft it for yourself. And so how are you treating your mornings? How are you treating your night times? What are you doing? And even if it is, let's say 10 minutes or 15 minutes of the goal that you want to pursue and you're making progress on it, that compounds over time. But if you don't have a routine, when those motivation levels lower, you will not be able to work. You will not be able to show up. What happens really naturally is that they become subconscious habits, right? So for example, when I am now in this experience of running every single day, I run 4 miles every day. When I wake up and I go through my routine of getting my glass of water, and then when I get my glass of water, I then put on my shoe, and then I tie my shoe, and then I go outside and run. Like, that is subconscious, right? And it gets me through this flow. And I know there's a great quote by Mel Robbins that reads that never let your mood dictate what you do. Always take movement first, because movement changes your mood. That is so powerful. And what routine does for you is it gets you in that flow. And therefore, it is not a negotiable. And I actually think a lot of us should live by schedules, right? And I know that I get a lot of feedback from this where people are like, oh no, I hate schedules. But I think schedules are so powerful. And if you've never crafted your own schedule, and I don't mean what your work gives you or what your school gives you, but crafting your own, I would really encourage you to try it. It does make a world's difference in how much you're able to get done and the accountability that you give yourself. And if you can do reflection at the end of the day, I think that's golden. Number 4, find accountability. There's no doubt that self-accountability will always be of priority, but I do know that some of you are really struggling out there, and it can make it much more manageable when you do have somebody there that holds you accountable. And for me, it can be my running partner. For me, it can be my workout partner. For me, it can be my discipline mentorship community or my Create a College team, whatever it may look like. But having someone or something to look at and say, yes, okay, I need to be held accountable. And I know that even if I don't feel like it, that someone else is looking at me and someone is making sure that I am showing up. That does make a huge difference. And I think when you can find people that truly care about your success, this becomes one of the greatest assets that you can possibly have. And if you think about when you have a workout partner in general and you are working out yourself, you may think that you can push 225 pounds for bench press 3 reps, but then you do it with a workout partner, they're cheering right by you and they're like, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, and then you do 6 or 7 reps. Like, why does that happen? It's because sometimes we don't even recognize how much we're in constant battle with our own minds. And when someone else is there to say, no, you can do it, it does reprogram. And of course, again, it's then your ability to say, all right, I don't need to only rely on people, but I can do it for myself. But having that is a really great start. So if you can go through your phone contact list, and if you could just find one person, even if it's your parents or if it's your siblings or if it's just a close friend, I think it can be a very good starting ground to just say, hi, I have this goal and I would love to do daily check-ins with you, or I'd love to do weekly check-ins with you because this is important to me and there's no one else that I could trust but you. I believe you'd be able to find someone. I think it would be a huge benefit, and perhaps you can make this experience enjoyable, and that person would also want to be held accountable by you for a particular goal that they have. That type of community building, I think, is powerful, and that maybe goes from 2 people to 3 people, 4 people in that accountability circle, and I believe that becomes even more and more and more powerful. So give that a shot as well. With that being said, that wraps up the 4 mindset shifts in regards to how do you build discipline. And hopefully now I've proven to you that yes, as a skill set, but yes, it's also very practical, and the ability to take immediate steps now and actually lead to that successful life that you want. I challenge you, and I believe in you, okay? I think you have a ton of potential, and I want you to be able to look inside of you and say that you're proud of the efforts that you're making. And it starts with discipline. It starts with showing up when you don't feel like it.
And hopefully that's what we did here today. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe. I'll see you all at the top.